all together over here. I am a few minutes early today, so we're just gonna get some time together to allow people to get on, and then we will get started. We have an exciting, hey Raven, we have a change of message because I want to take a step back and ask you guys a couple questions about what you need in order to use this information for your highest and best good. And then I was actually doing some research. Every morning, I spend about 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes more, doing a lot of research on things for the mindset and things that are going to help my private clients and the ladies in the personal mastery, just information that can help them make their lives better. And I want to share something with you that I took notes on because I feel like no matter what I'm telling you about being able to make this shift and create a better identity for yourself, I still feel like there are some of you that are going to struggle. And specifically, there are key things that are probably going to get in your way. And I want to give you some information about what they are. I'm going to give you 4 things. That way that, when you're moving into the weekend and preparing to start the week over next week, you actually are able to do some introspection and you're actually able to do some self-study and recognize the things that you have internally that are holding you back from being successful. And as these internal things hold you back from being successful, what you're going to be able to do is remember how yesterday we talked about how emotions have highs and lows. And those are what primarily will take people off their track. This is an opportunity for you to recognize 4 key barriers that will get in the way when you're trying to make these big changes, when you're trying to create better habits and get out of these negative mindsets and stop giving up on yourself. And with these solutions, I hope you'll be able to be more self-aware and recognize what's going on so you can nip it in the bud. So let's just go ahead and get started. It's Friday. We got stuff to do. All right. So all of the things that I'm going to share with you today have to deal with self-worth. And why are we talking about self-worth instead of talking about the book? Well, number one, I skimmed through chapter 7 because I've had this book for many years. So I always review it before I come and talk to you all about it. Chapter 7 is just basically saying, get cues out of your environment that are gonna cause trouble. And we're all like, duh. We know we have to get rid of unhealthy food or unhealthy people if we want to have a better success. So I just decided to let's skip chapter 7 for today. Let's get into these 4 things that are going to get in your way when you're trying to create change. Specifically, the reason why I think that these things are important is because remember, the number one thing that's going to help you be able to make great shifts in your life is to stop trying to change a behavior and to stop also, to me, identifying your self-worth and your self-image based on certain behaviors. What you do need to do, though, is rise up to the level of the person that is worthy of the things that you want to be. So as a reminder, I'm going to keep repeating this until you get it right. It takes a while to get it right. So you're going to hear me repeating, but the basis of how I teach clients identity shifting, what do you need to be doing? If that person were in your shoes now, what would they be doing? How would they be deciding? How would they be feeling? How would they be dressing? What would they be eating? Get into character. However, there's 4 things that can get in the way of you staying into character, because the minute that we make a decision that we want to change our lives, that's when it becomes hard, right? You can have ice cream, you can have chips that go bad, you're living your best life, but the minute that you decide that you want to get healthy, all these cravings hit, all these parties hit, the holiday rolls around, and you end up getting off, dropping off the wagon. So this is the same way that it works psychologically. And these are 4 things that impact your self-identity and your sense of self-worth. So it's important that you understand these, because as you start to strive toward having a better life, these are the roadblocks that you will hit. And if you don't recognize them, you will give up on yourself. You will get discouraged. You will get frustrated. You will feel like nothing is happening and nothing is changing. And if you've been there before, then you know that that feels super crappy. And that's primarily why a lot of people work with people like me, work with coaches. It's because of stuff like this, but I'm going to give you the keys. So number one, if you really want to start to shift into a new identity and feel better about yourself, you have to also, like, I don't want you to dwell in this space, but you do need to understand the key issues that contribute to where you are right now, how you see yourself today. What is your sense of self-worth in the first place? Because if you don't, like we talked about with the beginning of this book, you're going to try to make changes and you're going to try to do it from this standpoint. You're going to try to adopt all these new ideas and you're going to try to think positive and try to think like that person that I said, you think like her, but you quickly are going to shift backwards because there's another part of it, right? And it's the feeling part. And people mistake feeling for mood. So you might try to start the day in a good mood, in a happy mood. But again, as these external things are coming your way, what will happen is that mood can have ups and downs and it doesn't feel authentic. So as much as I want you to move forward, I want you to address these things that I'm going to share with you today so that they don't have you, step back. And so I'm just looking at my notes. First one we're going to talk about is judgmental self-talk. Especially when you are trying to move forward in life. The first thing that will usually get in your way is your own demons, your own voice telling you how you tried to do it before and you failed. Or maybe you're not worthy enough to have it. Or maybe you're not good enough or smart enough. Or maybe the thing that you want is so big that you don't even know how you're going to get it or if you can get it. All of this judgmental self-talk, this negative loop of self-criticism starts to crop up and get in the way. And what that does, it doesn't matter if you start the day off thinking that you were going to be on point and thinking that you were going to be that girl. The minute that starts to happen, that is the clue that you're not there. You probably never were there. You're back down to where you were, trying to navigate moving from approaching your problems and your issues from yourself versus version 2.0 of yourself, we're going to call it. So what I realize is that what most people with low self-worth do to themselves is they constantly criticize and judge themselves in their own heads. And if you were in the self-love challenge, we specifically talked about this as well. Even if you know that what you're saying about yourself isn't true, whether you actually believe what's going on in your head or not, the activity, the mental activity, because you're not thinking, you're just mental activity just going in your head, that activity will kill your self-worth, will kill your image. And like I said, it will actually, no matter if you think you're there, this is a clue that automatically shows you that you are coming back down to the level that you're on, the level that has previously got you in the situation that you're in now, or the level that is helping you stay stuck and not progress at the rate in which you would like to progress. So you have to learn to stop doing this. It will take a level of self-awareness. So ladies in the membership, you have access to all the replays from that challenge we did last month, but you have to learn the specific and proven ways in order to replace some of those negative self-talk issues and loops and self-criticisms that go on in your head in a way in which you can start to inject more positive or opposite statements until those statements become hardwired and embedded in your psyche. So work to replace the negative self-talk with more positive forms of self-talk. And in between the space where that gets hardwired, you're going to have some self-compassion with yourself. And if you can do that, your self-criticism and that negative self-talk will eventually start to decrease. Number two, and also ladies in the membership, there's also a book. I handpicked a book for you guys if you want to learn how to, the correct things that you need to say when you talk to yourself. So you have that resource available in the portal. All right. Reassurance seeking. This is number 2. So you have made a decision, right, to go forth toward a goal. And as we've been having these discussions, you're starting to think about the 3 habits that you can start to incorporate that are going to get you closer to your goal. You're starting to think about the behavior changes you need to make based on changing your identity into the person that is actually crushing what it is that you want to do. And then we talked about how you can make these habits easier to implement into your daily routine. So when this negative self-talk comes in, I feel like there's almost like this cascade that happens to where then, especially if it's a big goal and you don't feel confident, right? We're not going to feel confident if we're doing something different. What makes us confident is knowledge and experience, but you feel like you're going to step into something new with all the confidence in the world. That's not the way it works. But anyway, you lack the self-confidence. And so you go around asking other people to input or inject some reassurance into your life so that you feel better. Even if they've never done what you want to do, even if they don't believe in what you do, even if they don't know about what you're trying to do, you will ask everybody, research every book, watch every video after you've made a decision for you to move forward in life. What that means is that, again, you have moved from this vibration of that girl. We're just going to call her up here that girl 2.0. It's you 2.0 is that girl. You are not here yet. You can act happy. You can have a happy mood. Mood is the key word. Nothing has been hardwired. If you start to do that, you know that you're down here because you're starting to not trust yourself and you're starting to put your life in the hands of other people. And what did we talk about? Specifically, if you want to learn how to create a better life, and if you want to learn how to be the driver of your life and be the create the impact that you want in your own life and stop reacting to different people and different circumstances and learn what it means to have mastery over yourself and respond to life in a better way, then you're going to have to learn how to trust yourself. You're going to have to learn that other people don't have to make you feel better or support you or give you reassurance at a time where you don't feel that you have the self-confidence that you need to feel better. It's a bad habit. And what it actually does is it starts to destroy your emotional confidence. Because not only are you trying to do something different and you're scared and you don't know how you're going to do it and you've never done it before and you don't know anybody that's ever done it before. So you're looking for all the things to gain reassurance and you're asking people in your life that don't even, they're not even on your same wavelength or they're not even where you're trying to get. That gives you all this noise. And what did we say about all this noise? The mind is a tool upon which you can use to think and help move you in the direction that you want to go. But if you have all this information coming at you, what you are flipping over to is not thinking. It's not being rational or logical. What you're doing is increasing your mental activity and taking yourself out of the space that's going to give you the information that you need to be successful, especially when you don't know how to do something. That comes from that intuition. That comes from being perceptive. But because you are grasping for everything that's going to make you feel better, you're missing out on the keys that are going to move you forward successfully in life. Sit with those difficult emotions. I always teach my clients, sometimes instead of trying to avoid something or, you feel uncomfortable or you feel something that you don't want to feel, so you go and you try to find a solution to it, sometimes you need to sit with it because in that stillness, if you learn how to tap into your intuition and be more perceptive in that stillness, I promise you the answers will come. I actually just did this last night. There's something that I'm trying to do that I've never done before. And I was about to make a really big decision and a really big investment. And so I asked myself, my higher self 2.0, I said, hey girl, I need some help. I need you to let me know if this is the right investment or should I hold off for XYZ. And I didn't look, I didn't ask other people, I didn't look in a book, I didn't research other videos. I just paused because I've worked on perception, I've worked on intuition for a very long time. So it doesn't mean that I don't ever feel lost, but it means that I trust, I have faith in the process. And I kid you not, I was woken up some kind of way at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had my answer, and I trusted my answer. And my answer was probably best for me and on point more than anybody or anything could have told me, especially if they don't understand that the way that you move through life is from the inside out versus responding to everything outside of you and then moving from the outside in. So don't erode your emotional confidence by looking for all of the things outside of you and trying to figure out the how, when there is a way that you can be connected to spiritual information, to intuitive information, to more perceptive information from those frequencies that I said that we pick up on a subtle day-to-day basis that are going to give you information, and it'll give you information before you read it in a book. If you can learn to be perceptive and intuitive, it's going to give you information before somebody tells you, right? When you start to feel energy, you could tell if somebody's mad before they let you know that they're mad. All energy works the same way. So use it to your highest and best good to learn how to gain emotional confidence in yourself, or at least have the wherewithal to sit with difficult energy when you feel confused or when you feel uncomfortable. The third thing that we're going to talk about that could get in your way while you're trying to improve your life and better your life is a fear of being assertive. Especially, this might go hand in hand with the fact that you may not have the confidence or the faith in your ability. I'm not going to say faith in your ability. I think that deep down we know that we could do anything that we want to do. So it's not faith. I'm just going to say you don't have the confidence in order to do what you need to do. So there's two kinds of communication that a lot of people have grown up with. You've either been in a passive type of situation where people don't speak out, they don't express themselves truthfully, etc., and that can cause a whole host of issues in relational situations. Or there's aggressive communication when people will try to get what they want in a way that's rude and disrespectful or hurtful. But what a lot of us don't know how to do is be more assertive, and that is expressing your viewpoints authentically. So when you start to make these decisions, not only do you have to get rid of that negative self-talk and learn how to trust yourself and learn how to make a decision, stick with a decision. And if you feel a little bit off, sometimes, sit with yourself to get these answers, but then communicate assertively. Because again, the outside world is coming at you, asking you questions. Why are you doing this? All of the things, even trying to impose on your time, right? We talked about in the habits book how you have to be more streamlined with the things that you spend your time on. But because you are either maybe too passive to speak up, or maybe you have aggressive people in your life that choose to take over your time and make it their time, you have to learn how to then stand up. I would say verbally, but I would also say just stand up in character for the thing that it is that you want to accomplish, and be honest with yourself, be honest with other people. Because when you don't do this, and when you let other people monopolize your time, or when you let other circumstances manipulate your time, or if you just feel like you can't communicate verbally and non-verbally from this space that you're trying to move to, this version of you 2.0, then what are you teaching your brain? You're teaching your brain that all of these other things in life take priority over yourself. And they're really not the ones to blame. The people in the relationships or these circumstances like your job that keeps piling things on your plate, or all of these obligations that are overwhelming you, they're not the problem. You're the problem, because you are communicating verbally and non-verbally that you are okay with other people taking priority over the things that you've said that are a priority in your life, but you haven't been assertive enough to be able to communicate those. That will mess you up, right? Because you can be on the right track and doing all the right things as long as everything is going smooth. But the minute that you run into a situation where you have to have open communication with somebody, or the minute that you run into a situation where you have to be assertive or set a boundary, you either crumble or you blow up. And either one of those instances will come with some emotion of resentment, right? Of getting burned out, of anger, and all of these things take you off of your energetic frequency to being that girl. I don't know if there's any guys listening, so if there's a guy listening, that guy, put yourself up there too. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, as much as I'm talking to you about this new identity that you should be shifting into, and if you want to successfully make changes that last, how you have to really look at the core of who you are and not only examine the things that have gotten you to where you are today that have held you back, but also examine what you need to do to move forward. But I don't want you to get stuck in this cycle of self-worth, because sometimes we spend too much time thinking about self-worth. And so we end up judging ourselves. We end up being very hard on ourselves. It actually triggers, like if I'm telling you all this stuff and it's going to trigger introspection, what I don't want it to trigger for you is more judgmental thinking and feelings about where you are right now. I want you to just use it as a catalyst. Hey, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to see what I could do differently, but I'm not going to get stuck here. I'm not going to put the car in park right here. I'm going to continue to move forward. You should never have to question your worth. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you have something that you want to incorporate in your life and you want to accomplish, then it's not a matter of if you are worthy of it. What it is, do you believe that you can have it? Because if you thought about it, you can have it. If you thought about, just like you think about an outfit, you go to the store and buy it. It's that simple. So I don't want you to get stuck about thinking that, thinking about if you are worthy or not. I just want you to look for these little cues so that you can shift. Because remember, we were talking about cues being an important factor around habits, if whether you're moving toward a good habit or whether you're moving toward a bad habit. All right. I'm going to end with a quote. A quote is from a guy named Greg. And he said that if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. So as you move into this weekend, if there's a lesson that you need to listen to over again when it comes to all of these things we've been talking about when it comes to like implementing good habits, why habits are important, and specifically getting into character with the new version of yourself, then go ahead and look at all these things. Also, make sure that as your mood fluctuates, as your feelings fluctuate this weekend, that you think about these 4 things that I've told you. And if these are the things that start to get in your way, use the suggestions that I've told you to be able to move past these things more quickly. And again, for a lot of you, it's not the information that's the problem. It's the implementation, and it's the consistency, and it's the persistency, or even the ability. Maybe you just need somebody that believes in you more than you believe in you to show you that you can do something that you thought that you didn't do. So maybe you need help and support. And if that is you, then I do have coaching spots available. And if that's something you want to talk about with me, you can either send me a private message, or you can go to yashikasintuition.com/coaching intake, and we'll set up a 20-minute call. It is not a sales call. I do not want to sell anything to you. If it is not a good fit for you, it's not a good fit for you. But if it is a good fit for you, we can talk about how we can work together to create change in your life. Lastly, if you want some resources to look over this weekend, especially for those of you that are new and that want to get caught up on this valuable discussion that will change your life if you let it, then text the word mastery to 833-231-4407. And do you guys have any questions for me? Any comments? Any feedback? What I would like to do is, since we may have to break this book up a little more because some of the suggestions are a little bit obvious for us, is that I want to also be able to come in and give you some information in these daily live streams that are going to be helpful to what it is that you're going through. So if you have anything that you would like me to talk about, that you would like me to address, that you would like me to teach during our Monday through Friday live streams, then leave a comment, shoot me a message. You can email me at Yashika's Intuition. What is my my email is yashika@yashikasintuition.com. Yashika@yashikasintuition.com. And I will make sure to incorporate some of those specific things into these lessons that you are going through, because I want this to be a resource for you to come to get the information that you need to impact your life and to better your life. We don't need to be struggling. We can make 2021 the best year ever. It's not too late. We just need to incorporate this stuff, be focused, be motivated from the inside out to live a better life. I don't see any comments or anything, so I'm going to say you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday, same time, same place. All right, bye.